Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Sangat ji, welcome back. I hope to see job BDC in the break. I've got something very interesting, Benji, that I'm going to about a thought of the day.
Okay then.
And pata asi obviously every day asi sanu chahiਦਾ reflect ਕਰਨੋਂ on asi I guess ki ਚੰਗਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ. I've got a very interesting thought of the day. No matter how big your house is, how recent your car is, or how big your bank account is, our graves will always be the same. Stay humble. If this is soch there, it's very good, है ना?
Yeah.
Because as we always soch there, you know, sadde na ek kuch jana, or you know, this is going to go with us. You know, we don't know, है ना? Basically, so it's always good to stay humble, be kind to people, and again, try to do as many good deeds as you can in the day. So obviously, Sangat ji, ਸਾਡੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ guests ਸੀਗੇ, ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ, we're talking about Sikhi with them. ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ, I'm very excited about these guests actually. I've been looking forward to having them on. We've got guests from Slough Khalsa Primary School ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਆਏ ਆ, and ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ. ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ
ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੱਚੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਿਲ ਇੰਨਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਦੇਖੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਜੋ ਸਲੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਇਮਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਤੋਂ ਆਏ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਅੱਜ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਸ਼ੀਰਵਾਦ ਵੀ ਦੇਣਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਣ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਹਨ। ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਨਜੀਤ ਕੌਰ ਜੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਬੱਚੀ ਹੈ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਭਾਈ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਟੀਚਰ ਹਨ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਨ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਭਾਈ ਬੱਚਾ ਤੀਰਥਜੋਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਭਾਜੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟੀਚਰ ਹੋ। ਟੀਚਰ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਦੇ ਹਨ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਫੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੇ ਕਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਅ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜੋ ਜਾਂ ਗੁਰਮੁਖੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜੋ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੋਇਆ?
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿਰ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਟੀਚਰ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ, ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਊਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਕਲੱਬ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਲੋ ਮੂਵ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ 2013 ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪ੍ਰਾਇਮਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਕੈਂਪ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ, ਵੀ ਕੰਮ 'ਤੇ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਬਾਰੇ। ਫਿਰ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ 2013 ਤੋਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ। 3 ਸਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਈਅਰ 5 ਵਿੱਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਣਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੰਬਰ ਟੀਚਰ ਆ ਗਏ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਨੂੰ ਲਾਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਰਿਸੈਪਸ਼ਨ ਕਲਾਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਸਿੱਖ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਨਾਲ ਇਹ 6 ਅਤੇ 10 ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆਮ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਵਿੱਚ। ਫਿਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਹੈ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਵਿੱਚ। ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਪਾਠ ਕੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈਗਾ, ਪਾਠ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਲਾਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਫਿਰ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪਰ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ
ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਏ ਸੀ, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਘਰੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾਤਰ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਏਜ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਚੰਗੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਿੱਧੇ ਘਰੋਂ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਧੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਹਨਾ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਚਾਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ। ਜੇ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੋਸਤ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਹੀ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਹਨਾ। ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਪਾਈ ਆ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ, ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਦਮਾਲਾ ਸਜਾਉਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ, ਹਨਾ।
ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ obviously I look at it like, you know, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਛੋਟੀ ਸੀਗੀ we didn't have access to, you know, like a Khalsa primary school or a Sikh school, ਹਨਾ। And I think for me it's such an inspiration that, you know, even though ਬੱਚੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਆ, I look to actually think I could go up to them like ਜਿੱਦਾਂ Darshanjeet, I could go to you or Teerathjyot, actually to, you know, to learn a bit more Punjabi or a bit more about Sikhi. They could probably teach me. And I think, you know what, it's such an inspiration, and I'm sure ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, they're probably thinking the same thing, that without these schools, you know, we really don't really have that access. So, you know, it's Vaheguru's kirpa. It's, you know, brilliant that, you know, you have the school. And for me, I just feel really like privileged to be able to like talk to, you know, young students and find out a bit more about, I guess, how they feel, you know, being in the school. So, Darshanjeet, I'll ask you the question. How do you find Khalsa Primary School? What are your experiences?
Khalsa Primary School is really fun, And then when we learn about Sikh studies,
Hanji.
and we learn about the gurus, and we make sure we remember everything we learned by revising it and looking through our books about what we have learned.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you feel when you go into school, have you got this like really happy feeling of, you know, Aj my school John, I feel really happy? Because I didn't when I was younger. Probably totally in the wrong school.
Sometimes yes, because sometimes we have days when we are about to play a game about this subject and then that subject, and it's really kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because then it helps us to get more knowledge about it, and it helps us and it inspires us in that subject.
Yeah, that's really good. And Teerathjyot, for you, how do you find Khalsa Primary
I
School?
find it really enjoying.
Yeah.
Like, I love it because over there I get to learn my favourite subject, Sikh studies.
Yeah.
It's about when we learn about Sikhi, we get to know about all our gurus, what they did for us,
Yeah.
and we get to learn about what we should believe in and what we should do.
Yeah, you know, that point actually, Teerathjyot, je ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ about what our gurus did for us. Obviously, you know, we're in the month of December, you know, and, you know, you probably know a lot more than me, but in terms of, obviously, this is the month of where, you know, our Jar Sebjar, they, you know, did what they did, sacrificed what they did. And then you've got Christmas, you know, so I've been brought up in an era where, you know, that's all I knew, Christmas, really. I guess my question would be, you know, why do Sikhs celebrate Christmas, you know, and should they be celebrating it in this month where we've got the Jar Sebjar there? If you could just touch on that a bit, Bhaji.
Christmas, like, for years and years, people in this country have been celebrating Christmas, whether they're Christian or not Christian. I know for my families as well, they've been celebrating Christmas since we were young as well. Christmas trees being cut up and stuff, presents we get Christmas Day. But when I looked into it more, like when you learn more about Sikhi and stuff, and you get more into Sikhi, you find out, especially when you learn about Sebjar, you think this is a month when we should really, it's meant to be a somber month for Sikhs, where you're thinking about the sacrifice made by the Sikhs in 1704, and to know that, you know, what happened to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, what happened to his family at that time. And it should be a time of mourning, really, for Sikhs. It should be a time when they're actually reflecting back on the sacrifices made and the fact that Chote Sahibzade, how young they were, what they were made to go through. The fact that Guru Gobind Singh Ji, our father as well, has lost his whole entire family, 4 sons, his mother as well.
Yeah, Sara Parvar, Desh Kamli Varta.
Those sacrifices, and plus how they were taught, how they were sacrificed as well. I mean, to be in a battle of 1 million people, his older sons, and his young sons be bricked alive, put in a coal tower, those sort of things. And that happens through the week of December. The actual dates when that happened is through the week of December, or the Christmas in the last week and stuff. So it should be time not celebrating, we're actually commemorating and being reflective time for us. And also, because I know people in Punjab and other places, people who are touched by the stories, touched by Sakhis, they'll feel too heartbroken to actually do anything celebratory in that time period and stuff. So anyone who feels affected or close to the Gurus, close to Sikhi, close to the Sakhi, wouldn't want to celebrate Christmas, because it's a really sad time for them. It's like, and plus when we go through the motion, when you go to Gurdwaras and hear more kathas, more the Sakhis, every year we always hear something new about them, more about what they were put through. Even when the films have come out as well, that really brought the reality of it, what really happened in Sebjar, and made people who are non-Sikh to understand it. And it just hits home, like, what the sacrifices were, what they actually did, what they went through, how it was like. I mean, watching the film time and time again, people don't get bored of it. It brings the reality of what really happened at that time.
And do you think, Bhaji, like, did I film this again about obviously Jar Sebjar there? That was obviously released like a few years back.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, wasn't it? And now we've got obviously Banda Singh Bahadur. Do you think, obviously I've seen it, and I'm sure you see there, Kiana. Do you think that gives a strong enough message to the Sangat, or do you think there should be more done along, you know, to support that?
I think what's been done now in the films, I mean, that's something phenomenal. That was when the first film came out in 2014. That was phenomenal for everyone. People have read the stories, people have heard the stories, but to actually see it, not in real life, but in animation, even that's more or less close to reality, because they can imagine how the scenes were, they can imagine how the sons were, they can imagine how Guru Gobind Singh was, how the fights went, how the battles went, and to see them go through the sacrifice, see them go through being in the Chanda Borji, go and be at the courts, what they actually said, the words, the words they showed, the emotions they showed, that gives a reality to everyone, what it was really like at that time. And that woke up a lot of people, woke up the Panth. I mean, it was the most famous film at that time as well, you know, beat all the Bollywood films as well. Most record-breaking numbers commonly seen in the cinemas. And that just woke up everyone, especially for Sikhs, woke up everyone that this is what our Sikhi was about. This is what's happened, and that's basically the foundations of our Sikhi, how it started from their sacrifices. Without them, who knows where we would be.
It's true though, and the thing is, I guess, like even, you know, Darshanjeet you know, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਲਮ ਦੇਖੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਆ guess shot have you seen both of them?
Yeah, we've seen both of them.
So tell me, from your view, how do you feel watching that and knowing that Christmas is here in December? That's what people talk about. What would you say would be your view?
I don't really think that Sikhs can celebrate Christmas, but what's really sad to know is on the day of Christmas, the Char Sahibzade were bricked alive, and Mata Gudri ji had no idea about it, and she was in the Thandi Burj, and I don't think it's a good idea to celebrate Christmas.
So what would you say to people out there to do? What would be the best thing for them to do during this time?
I think that they should remember the Jar Sahibzade, or if you're in India, you could go to Fatehgarh Sahib, and that's where the Jar Sahibzade were bricked alive, and then you can remember them.
Oh, that's lovely. And Teerathjyot, have you seen the film as well, both of them?
I've seen one of them. We're going on the 8th of December for a school trip as well.
Okay.
And from my point of view, I think that we should celebrate Christmas, but it will be really hard because, like Darshanjeet said, on the time when Jesus was born and he was taken to Bethlehem, the same time the Shote Sahibzade, they were in the Thandi Burj with Mata Gujri ji, and it's really sad to know about that because people are celebrating Christmas at that time when we should actually be remembering the Jar Sahibzade and what happened to them, why they sacrificed their lives just for us to live.
See, this is the thing. I think, you know, like to hear this, for me, I just think, you know, it's such an inspiration. Hana Benji,
yeah, that's the school ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਸੁਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਨੌਲੇਜ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲੀ ਆ ਹਨਾ so it's very good.
And Bhaji, I think for me, I'd like to know a bit more about, and I'm sure you'll have the knowledge of this. What exactly did happen in, say, Sikhs in December 1704? If you could elaborate on that.
Going from the film, and you also a bit of the history. Basically, started from when the Sikhs were all trapped in Anandpur for many months. Food and rations had run out and stuff, so the Mughals were outside surrounding them. They couldn't find a way in, and Sikhs couldn't find a way out. So what they did instead was the Mughals made a promise. Emperor Aurangzeb made a promise on the Holy Quran, and the Hindu hill chiefs made a promise on the Holy Gita and stuff that would let you, if you were to leave Anandpur Sahib, would let you go. Wouldn't harm you or anything else was. Guru Gobind Singh, he knew they were lying. He knew they had a broken promise in the past. Because the Sangat was so desperate, they were so, they've been hungry for so long, they wanted to leave. So Maharaj had to listen to them. They listened to Sangat, and even when Maharaj knew what was going to happen, he said, okay, I'll follow what the Sangat does. Sangat left Anandpur Sahib, that's their homeland. That was their home they left, their kingdom. And they left Anandpur Sahib, and then they were attacked from behind. And during the attack, the battle they had to have to fight the forces that were trying to attack them, they had to cross this river. When they crossed this river, so much was lost. That's known as Paravarvishwara now. And when the families got separated, the older Sahibs, the shorter Sahibs got separated, the mothers, Mata Guji got separated. That was a big loss as well. Many Sikhs drowned in that river. Many lost scriptures, manuscripts were lost as well. So a lot of precious history was lost in that river as well. And when afterwards they crossed over, they were lost, both sides were lost. And they came to the Vardeh Sahib, they went to Tungar. 40 something Sikhs were in the Tungar fort. And then a million Mughals come in front of them. Million Mughals come to front of this, so there's no way out. The Guru Gobind Singh is going to be finished, and so his sons and everyone else. But there's still, even though the Vardeh Sahib got Shaheed and all the 46 got Shaheed as well, Guru Gobind Singh still escaped. Only because the Panj Pyare gave him budget. Guru Gobind Singh wanted to go in battle, wanted to be Shaheed just like his sons were. But the Panj Pyare said, we'll give you hukum now, you can't. You have to escape, you have to keep the Khalsa going. So Guru Gobind Singh had to follow the budget and go. Shorty Sahib at the same time were in Morinda jail first, when Gungu crossed on them and put them to the police. Then they went to Sarhand, where Waziri Khan was, and then they put them in the Thanda Burj. That was basically to torture them to make them weak and break their resolve, break their Sikhi, break their faith. Whatever they were asked to do, they'd do it because they were so desperate, they don't want to be cold. Exactly. But the Shorty Sahib at the age of 6 and 8, after going through, they weren't allowed to eat either. For 3 days they weren't allowed to eat. And the person who gave them the warm milk, who came to them, they did it knowingly that if they were get caught, their entire family will be killed by Wazir Khan. That was an order given. Anyone who feeds them or shelters themselves, they will be tortured and put to death. But he did that. He gave them Dod without knowing my family's going to be lost, but I have to do the seva. I want to do the seva of the Chara seva, of the Shorte seva, and Mata Gujri, and give them Dod no matter what. And he did that. And whatever bribe you have to give him, like selling the jewelry, selling the house. And then Shorte said they were tested so much. The Wazir Khan threw so many mind games on them, so much pressure on them to change their faith, you know, give them so many temptations as well. But even that, the young Sahibzade still didn't take any of that, still didn't break the faith. Anything he put towards them, any temptation he put, like rewards, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, they still didn't break the resolve. No matter what, you're going to change your faith.
Yeah, thank you. And Bhaji, I guess, you know, on the back of that, like, you know, in terms of obviously the sacrifices they made and everything, there may be Sangat that are watching that probably weren't really aware of the detail. But, you know, now that we've touched on it, and, you know, obviously we never really have enough time to talk about it all, but how would you say Sikhs should commemorate, you know, the Jar Sahibzade? What would be your advice?
There's many things people can do. If you have children, watch this Jar Sahibzade film with them.
Anji.
Teach them about the history. Not just watch it, but discuss it with them. What do you think of the film? What do you think the Sahibzade did this? What do you think the Sahibzade said this and did that? When you discuss in more detail, you might be surprised what the children actually come out with. They might have a misunderstanding, or they might understand in a way that parents don't understand it. They might have seen it in a different light. That, wow, I want to be like the Sahibzade. That's what you want children to do, is be inspired. Mata Gujjar Kaur is a very good example to all parents. She's the one who made the Chote Sahibzade at that age to be strong in their faith. Because all night she would just tell them histories, read Gurbani with them, tell them the Sakya, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, what sacrifice he made, that you are the grandsons of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And because of that, that's how they come stronger in their faith, stronger in their resolve that they wouldn't do anything to disgrace their grandfather, disgrace their father. We are the Sahibzade, we are sons of Guru Gobind Singh. We will not break our faith. And that was by Mata Gujjar Kaur. The inspiration she gave them, this Saki she showed them at night and stuff. That's what parents need to know. So by telling children about Sahibzade, watching the story more. But there's further things they can do. In India, 2 years ago, there's Mata Gujjar Kaur Trust in India, and they had an appeal that in memory of the Sahibzade and Mata Gujjar Kaur, if you see even homeless, give them a blanket, keep them warm during the winter months, in memory of Mata Gujjar Kaur. They were cold and Tunda Burj. In their memory, give a blanket to someone, just like you would to the Chote Sahibzade. Give them a blanket, feed the homeless, anyone who's out in the streets at this time, give them clothes, give them warm blankets and stuff, give them food. That would be the best way to commemorate it, by helping others have a better time during this cold winter months.
ਵੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫਿਲਮਾਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਸਟੋਰੀ, ਕਈ ਸੌਣ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੌਂਦਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਕੁਝ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿ ਆਹ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਆ, ਸੋ ਬੱਚੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨਗੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਕਿ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ, ਪਰ ਕਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਟੈਕਸਟ ਭੇਜੇ ਕਿ ਇੰਨੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਲਮ ਦੇਖਣ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੋਕੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਬੱਬੂ ਮਾਨ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਦੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਆਈ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੌੜਦੇ ਆ, ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਵੀ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਆਈ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ। ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਫਿਲਮ ਆਈ ਆ, ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਆ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ। ਜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸੀਏ ਨਾ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਤੇ, ਹਨਾ। So it's good.
It is good. And also, Bhaji, Khalsa Primary School, obviously, like, you know, you educate the children, obviously, on Gurpurab and things like that. So for Jar Sahibzade, I guess, to commemorate the Jar Sahibzade, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਫਿਰ as a part of the school?
What we're doing this month, part of the school, we've organised a trip to the cinema on this Thursday coming for key stage 2 from years 3 to 6 to actually go see the new Jar Sahibzade film, Banda Singh Bahadur. We're not just going to watch it, we're actually going to go there to learn from it as well. So we're giving children, before they go to the cinema, they're going to be given a list of questions that they have to answer when they come out. So basically read through the questions and try and look for the answers in the film. So when they come back to class, they'll be given a questionnaire to see what they've learned from the film. And there'll be lessons based on it as well. There'll be lessons where they take one of the characters in the film and do like a diary entry. If you were that character in the film, how would you feel? What would you be going through? What would you be thinking? Another one could be a newspaper article when Banda Singh Bahadur, you know, rescues this town and city that he rescued from the oppressors and stuff. A news report can be, you know, Banda Singh Bahadur saves the city, what happened and stuff, you know, what was the history behind it. So children can look at the different angles just to get a deeper understanding of the film, deeper meaning. So it's not just a film they're going to see, but there's a whole concept to it, the whole understanding of what Banda Singh Bahadur did. And because it really has flashbacks to the first film, it actually brings home the message of what happened to the Sahibzade then, but what happened afterwards, the memories, the raw emotions that were still felt afterwards. And the amazing thing about the film is that I found amazing was a Muslim lady in the film, a Muslim, someone from completely different faith, was so struck by the Sahibzade, witnessing them being shaheed, you see them bricked up. For every month, that same day, she would go to light a diva. It's just in the memory. And towards the end of the film, you see that she held a brick
she kept one of the bricks on the wall, kept it for 5 long years to give it to someone who could give it, put on wazir Khan. He did this to the Sayyid, I want someone to get justice for us. And she gave it to Banda Singh's mother. Here's the brick, the same brick, that Bashar Jar said. And that was the most emotional moment in this film. This Muslim lady is holding the brick. That's her commemoration. I want to remember someone to get justice for these young 2 children who were so innocent, had no right to be bricked alive, no right to be categorized, but she felt that emotion. And she's from a completely different faith, but she had the emotion, these are children.
Yeah.
And if that's what a Muslim can feel, how should we be feeling as well?
Yeah, it's true. I think that's the thing, like for me, I think that's the thing that's touched me probably in the last, probably the last 2 years, probably when Jad Sahibzade first came out. I realised even more and more how Christmas isn't, like, it's great, and you respect it for the fact that, we're born in this country. Christmas is, for the faith who they like to obviously celebrate it. But for me, I think my focus is more like you think, seva, I want to do more seva, what can I give back? And you're right, it's that education that instills it upon you as a person. So I guess, talking to the children at the school, I'd like to know actually, what seva do you get involved in through Khalsa Primary School?
So, on Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab, what we did in our school was we had proper langar, we had thaliyan, and we sat on the floor and ate, and I did seva to give the dal and jol and rutiyan and stuff.
That's nice.
And it was kind of really fun, and it felt really blissful.
Yeah, and how did you feel knowing that you're giving, that you're doing for somebody else? How did that make you feel?
So whilst I was giving the dal and roti, I felt Guru Nanak Dev Ji's hand on my head, and
yeah, because always तो मम्मी नु कहंदी मैंने रोटी ले दे छेती है ना, तो सो अपन मम्मियां ते गुस्सा कढदे हैं कि रोटी चाहिदी छेती ले आओ, तो उस दिन तुसी आप सर्व कीता ते कितना सोहना लगा है ना.
And Teerathjyot, the CV, how did you feel about it? Like any seva tell me a memorable time of some seva you've done.
Like on Diwali, we had an assembly, and at the end we were giving out prasad, and I was one of the people who were giving out prasad to the whole Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. So while I was doing it, I felt blessed, because while I was giving out the prasad, I felt like something special was going to happen to me. Same moment.
बस है ना, सिख के कितना चंगा लगता बच्चे है ना सेवा करते आ, ते ਆਪਾਂ किन्ने खुश ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ पेरेंट्स भी, ते आले दुआरे ਅਸੀਂ देख के भी ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ बहुत nice लगता है ना कि साडे बच्चे सेवा करते हैं.
I tell you, I probably feel I've learnt so much here just listening to the children, listening to you, Bhaji. I think for me it's made me think I want to go on that path and go just that one step more to to learn more and have that like what the children have, but to be able to have that now and go forward, because it's just you learn so much.
Yeah, ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਚਾਂਸ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ ਫੇਰ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਗਾਂ ਤੁਰ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਰਨੀ ਆ. ਜੇ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਜੋ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜੋ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਲਾਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਖੁੱਲੇ ਆ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਕੂਲ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. So it's very good.
And also ਸਾਡੇ ਹੁਣ obviously it was on say time's never on our side, but really quickly, Bhaji, probably in the next 10-20 seconds, if you could just tell the Sangat about the program that Slough have.
We're having a program today, 4 to 6 is a Khalsa club happening for children. It's going to be in memory of Mata Kaur and Charles Sahibzade. So we can teach children about Charles Sahibzade, that go through the films with them, history behind it, and do quizzes and role plays.
Okay.
Put them into situations. Then afterwards, from 6 to 10, we're having a special program this evening on Charles Sahibzade. But at the end, we're going to have a ardas for Bhai Singh, who's done a lot of seva over the years for Sikhi across the world, not just in one place. So special ardas for him for his good health and also for his family as well. So hoping all the Sangat come join us in the ardas, but also and it'll be Kirtan by the children as well at the beginning. It'll be Kirtan done by the children, and then other Kirtans afterwards. So it'll be good to have everyone more Sangat to come this evening for the program especially.
Well, thank you so much. It's been lovely to have you on the show. So thank you, for everything.
ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਕਹਾਂਗੀ ਕਿ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਇਓ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਣ, ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਵੱਧ ਚੜ ਕੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੋ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ.
So Sangat ji, please join us next week, and if koi galtiyan we aisi kehte hain, please sanu maaf kareo, bhula chukka di maafi. Waheguru ji ka khalsa, waheguru ji ki fateh.